Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick demonstration of the Sony CyberShot DSC QX100. Now this is one of two lens cameras that Sony just launched, priced at $499.99. The goal is quite simple. You can attach this lens camera to your smartphone of choice. In this case, we've got a Galaxy S3. It'll accommodate any smartphone with a screen of up to 5 inches, so for those of you who have the Galaxy Note 2, unfortunately, like myself, you're out of this party. You can, of course, use it mounted like I have it on a tripod. The whole point of this device is a wireless camera, but when you want the actual traditional feel of a point-and-shoot experience, you use the included mount right here, as you can see mounted on the Galaxy S3, and that essentially just attaches to the back of the QX model of choice that you've picked up, and then using the viewfinder, or I should say the screen of your phone as the viewfinder, you now have a more traditional point-and-shoot experience going on. Of course, the whole concept is, instead of upgrading your phone to get better camera functionality, why not just upgrade the camera itself? And quite frankly, I think it's a brilliant idea. It works with both iOS and Android. You do need to have the Play Memory app installed on your respective device. If you are using an Android device that has NFC, then the process becomes even more seamless. In fact, in my opinion, it's kind of a must-have, and that's not to say that iOS users aren't going to be pleased with this, because they will. And that's simply because, again, you have the same 1-inch sensor and Carl Zeiss glass found on the best pocketable point-and-shoot camera on the market, which is the RX100 Mark II. So with that said, a $500 accessory for your phone, or is it really a true camera? Well, that's not what we're here to determine, but I am going to demo it. So as I mentioned before, NFC and Wi-Fi drive this entire experience of this wireless camera. And as you see, I have it on a miniature tripod, easy to take around, great for composing shots on any camera, but also perfect for this demo. So NFC will allow me to turn this camera on and actually launch the app without having to open the app, something that if you're on the iPhone, you're going to have to open the Play Memories app and just do a direct connection with Wi-Fi. But here, we're just going to make the two contact points meet, and you can see the camera powered on. We've also got the actual application opening and connecting to the camera itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there for a moment until it connects, which it looks like we just got it. And I'm going to go ahead and actually bring this into landscape so you have a better view. The reason I'm doing this demo with the Nexus 7 is simply because you're going to get a better demonstration because of the screen size than you would with a traditional camera. Now you can see relatively lag-free in terms of movement, fairly quick. I know this is a shake test, but still should be relatively accurate in demonstrating how quickly or rather how much lag there actually is in the connection. And from what I've found, this does outperform all of Sony's previous attempts at Wi-Fi enabled cameras, and it should, because that is the whole premise of the QX line. Now in terms of focusing, you can see very clearly we've got the RX100 right there in focus, but one of the new additions, enhancements that doesn't exist on other Wi-Fi enabled cameras from Sony, like the NEX 5R, 5T, the 6, or the NFC, well, the T is enabled with NFC, or the RX100 Mark II, is touchscreen control when you're actually using it like we are right now. So if I go ahead and touch the RX100 Mark II in the background, you can now see it is in focus. I can go ahead and bring that focus right back to the RX100 Mark I. You can then turn off the touchscreen, the touch to focus feature. So that's one of the enhancements they've brought. You've also got your mode where you can switch from photo to video. Currently, I do not have a micro SD card in the QX, so we are working off of the onboard storage. In other words, photos are going to be sent directly to the device, and that'll work that way. You can see there's a little icon there at the top that indicates that there is no SD card inserted. Also, we've got our actual modes that we can switch in and out of. We have Intelligent Auto, Superior Auto, and then Program and Aperture Priority. Unfortunately, the balance of the features, the manual controls that many of you might have expected to be there simply aren't. Sony could have included these things, but that to me is part of preventing a cannibalization of their RX100 line, and that's for obvious reasons. The price point is one reason, and the other is simply because even though it doesn't have the same form factor, if they were to enable all of these things, you would literally be getting an RX100 Mark II at $500, which I think many people envisioned at the inception or announcement of this product. But of course, no RAW capability here. If we want to take that photo, go ahead and hit the shutter button, and then it will copy it directly to the device. Now, you can actually control the size of that copy. You also have the ability, as you may have noticed right there, to share it instantly if you want. Here in the settings, and this will look a little bit different in iOS than it does here, and I'm going to bring this in even tighter. You can see that we've got the ability to copy from connected device, use the self-timer, our autofocus mode. We can select the image size that we prefer from a large list of different variations. We've also got the ability to select whether or not we want the review image to be there and the duration. In terms of save options, which I was just demonstrating, you have the ability to save it directly, of course, to your device or not. And then the review size is also highly relevant. What we saw before was a 2 megapixel review. Now I'm going to switch it over to original. I'll go ahead and focus on the RX100 Mark II if I can get it in frame there. Trying to get the focus on it. There we go. Take my shot. Keep in mind, again, this is in full quality, almost as fast. So really it'll come down to whether or not you've got the available storage space. And then you can see those options to share it or go back. And the share feature's there for obvious reasons. This is all about being a social networking or device, really. It's a wireless camera designed specifically for your smartphone. So if it can't instantly share, then I guess the whole vision is really lost to some degree. Again, very little lag on this, which is definitely a good thing. And overall, so far, the performance seems stellar. I mentioned before you can switch to video mode, relatively seamless, pretty quick. And there you can go ahead and capture, use the zoom as well. Settings here, not as rich for obvious reasons. Video capture is limited to 1440 by 1080, so you're not, again, getting that full video capture capability of the RX100, let alone the Mark II, which has even more mature video settings than the 100. So that's pretty much it. You may have noticed in the left corner, we've got the actual modes the camera has auto-detected. So it's in macro and it knows it's on a tripod. So really cool. Playback function will prompt you to basically just go back to your gallery and tell you that, any photos you've shot on your tablet or smartphone will be stored in a play memory subfolder within your gallery. So that pretty much rounds out the demo for the QX100 and how it functions with the Nexus 7 or any smartphone for that matter, because had I been using it on the Galaxy S3, it would have performed pretty much the same. Of course, both have that NFC integration to automatically power on the QX100 as well as launch the Play Memory application, which I really believe is a convenience that is a must-have for this experience. Again, iPhone users I think will still heartily welcome this upgrade, but if you do have NFC, it's going to be far more conducive and friendly to using this. So that includes, of course, Sony's own Sony's own phones, as well as Samsung's phones. Unfortunately, again, the Note 2 is just too large. And that, to me, a bit of a miscue by Sony, because the Note 2 is a very popular device, and the QX100 is certainly large enough that if any phone was justifiable, or mating it with any phone was justifiable, it would be some of the larger ones on the marketplace. And there are really only a handful of phones that this won't accommodate with the included bracket, but still something I would have liked to have seen on a device that is so user-specific like this. But overall, for those of you, again, looking to upgrade your smartphone camera, this is really where it's at. The QX10 does give you a much lower entry price point at $250, but it will not give you anywhere near the quality of traditional still image or video. This is about as close as you're going to get to the RX100 Mark II, which says a lot. The QX10 is going to give you more of a traditional CyberShot experience, closer to their $200 to $300 cameras, not even getting up to the HX50V in terms of quality of sensor. Of course, doesn't have the 30 times lens, but it does offer you a 10 times optical. So if optical zoom is what you're after, rather than image quality first, go with the QX10. But the QX100 is really for the person who's looking for the cream of the crop. Hopefully this demo has, shown everything that you might have wanted to see when it comes to the functionality of the brand new QX line with Wi-Fi supported devices. Again, really liking what I'm seeing so far. overall, it is a step in the right direction for Sony's Wi-Fi enabled cameras. As I showed you, you now have on-screen touch focusing as well as more feature modes, but they need to be there because the QX is actually a camera. But so far, really pleased with this. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.